episode 22 of My Yarny Corner. My name's Alex and I live in Yorkshire in the UK, and this is a podcast all about knitting and crochet. So welcome everybody. I hope that you're all okay and I hope you've had a lovely crafty 2 weeks. It seems like forever since I last podcasted. I think I must have got used to doing Vlogtober and seeing you all each day that this seems like a really long time away. But I'm looking forward to doing Vlogmas anyway. So, I've got a few things to talk about today. I've got some works in progress and I've got a couple of finished objects, and there's a shop update happening tomorrow night. I'll talk about that right at the end of the video, so for those of you that don't want to stick around for that, that's absolutely fine. So I'll put that right at the end. So yes, let's get on. So what's the date today? It is, I want to say the 17th, but I think it's the 18th of November. Thursday the 18th of November. And it's quite chilly. It's still not freezing cold outside yet, but it's cold enough to start wearing the hand knits and getting all those out. So I've been having a really good time making all the fingerless mitts, and the cat has just jumped on all my things that I've got at the side of me. It's still so naughty. It's Stewie. He's such a naughty cat, honestly, you wouldn't believe it. He's absolutely ruling the house at the moment. The dog is terrified of him. If the dog is sitting on the sofa having a cuddle, Stewie walks over, the dog cowers and gets down. I'll show you. You can see the attitude in his face, can't you? You're ruling the house, aren't you? He's been winding up Tilly, winding everybody up. I let him out the other day. And this guy, oops, careful. Okay, wants to get down. I let them out the other day just to sort of have a little potter around the garden because they're still so small. I mean, maybe they're not small. Maybe it's because the other cats are all so big, these still look tiny. I don't know. But he went straight into the next door neighbour's garden. And the next door after them have 2 huge Alsatians that really don't like cats. So I was absolutely panicking he was going to go into that garden. Anyway, I've got cat hair on my nose now. Anyway, I managed to get him back in there and let him out since. I think when I had the other cats, I let them out really quickly. Well, they weren't too young to go out. They went out about 6 months old. These are 10, 11 months old. They're still keeping them in the house. Bless them. They just, I don't know, they just seem so tiny and so defenceless, and they can't jump up yet. Even, like, we have safety gates all over the house for the dog. And they can't even jump over the safety gate. They'll just go through it. And Stewie's getting too big to fit through the gaps in the safety gate. So he gets his head stuck. And then you've got to help him out. So that's why I don't want to let him out yet. But yeah. Anyway, enough about cats. I'm really sorry. So we'll get straight into it. Oh, as well, before I forget, I'll put all the information about where you can find me in the description box below. I'm on Ravelry and Instagram, and you can email me. There has been, I just wanted to mention quickly, I've had a couple of emails that have gone into spam. I'm really sorry. I have responded to them now, but if I get an email and I don't respond straight away, it's because it's gone into spam and I haven't seen it, but I will try and keep checking spam folder. I'm not very active on Ravelry. As we all know, I use it mainly for just downloading patterns and things. I find it just so difficult to work out how to interact in the groups. It's just, I don't know, it's just not easy for me to do, and I've tried and tried and tried. But I have gone on to Discord recently, so hopefully I may be able to do something with that in the future. I don't know. I'm trying to get more used to using the Facebook page as well, so those of you that are in the Facebook group, thank you very much. The name for that group is My Yarny Corner. And I'm just getting into the habit of just using that each day and putting things on there as well. So I think that's all the information about where you can find me. And one more thing that I wanted to talk about just before we start the podcast is something I found out a couple of weeks ago. Now, maybe I'm just the last to know this and you all already know about this. But I was speaking to my friend Denise. She has the Dear Designs podcast. And we were chatting on Zoom, And we were talking about the magazines that we all buy, because I love to buy a magazine. It's just the price of them when you want in sort of 2 and 3 magazines a month. They get really expensive. And she said, oh, well, don't you use the Readly app? And I was like, no, never heard of the Readly app. What is this? So for those of you that don't know about the Readly app, you can get all the crochet magazines on there, all the knitting magazines. They have Knit and Crochet, Crochet Now, Simply Crochet, The Knitter, all the magazines that are out and about. It's one payment of, I think it's like $7.99 a month, and you get them all on this app and you can read them all. It's absolutely brilliant. So I no longer buy magazines in supermarkets. I download them all to this app. And it does other magazines as well. It's not just knitting and crochet. There's a lot of, what's that other one? Molly Makes, that's on there. And there's Itchy Nose. Yeah, Molly Makes is on there. And there's a lot of hobby magazines and things on there. But I just thought it was an absolute bargain for the price. So if you don't have the Readly app, go onto Google, have a look at it. I think you can do like, well, I got it on a month's free trial. See what you think. I just thought it was brilliant. So thank you so much, Denise, for that tip. And yeah, I'm probably the last to know. You probably all already know about this, but there you go. I just thought I'd share it. That was a long introduction. So what have I been working on over the past couple of weeks? Well, I have finished my Show Us Your Scraps mitts. I have 2. I'll show you them first before I show the mistake. I absolutely love them. There we go. Absolutely finished. This is the pattern by Laura Bales. I've showed this a couple of times on the podcast now. Each of these stripes takes less than 5 grams of yarn. They're made in 4-ply yarn and they're absolutely brilliant. Less stitches than what you'd use for a sock, and they are just my absolute go-to fingerless mitt pattern. They're just brilliant. They don't take any time at all. I've made, is this the 3rd version of these I've made? And I've made them in solid colours, and this is the first scrappy version I've made, and I just absolutely love them. If the camera falls, the cat's trying to push it from behind. Stewie, no, no, darling, stop. I told you, it's so naughty. So yeah, they are finished. I have made a mistake on these. I'm not bothered. They're only mine and I've got to find it now. Where is it? There it is. So in between each of the colour changes, you have this ridge here, which is created by some pearl bumps. You see there, I've forgotten to put it on. Typical me. So typical me. I just wear it on my right hand. So that's on the inside and you can't tell. But it's just such a fantastic pattern. I love them. So yeah, finished object number 1. And I do have another. Did I have any finished objects last time? I can't. Oh, I had the Musselburgh hat last time, didn't I? I did have a finished object. So yeah, I just keep them in the car. They're brilliant. So this one I am so excited about. As you all know, I've been making a shawl that I've designed myself. And this is it. It is finished. Oops, and then I go and drop it. So this is crochet. It's made out of 4-ply yarn. And I've used 3 100 grams of yarn for this. It's called the Autumn Wings Shawl. I cannot take credit for the name. I didn't name it. One of the lovely ladies in the Facebook group named it for me, and I just think it's the absolute perfect name. As soon as she said it, I thought, yep, that's what it's called. So, all done in 4-ply yarn, and you have these plain sections of crochet, and then it goes into like a ribbing section, back to a plain section, and then you get these ribs that go the other way, back to a plain section. It goes on like that for a few repeats, and then on the edge I've just put a lace edging on it. And it's measuring now, I think it was measured at 58 inches long, so I can't even, it's my wingspan basically, but I'll just put it on to show you. I absolutely love it. It's gorgeous. I had it on yesterday and I went on the school run, and it just kept me so warm and snuggly. So yeah, I'm so happy. I put it on Instagram last night because I want to send it out to testers before I release the pattern. So I put a very nervous Instagram post out. You know, if anybody would like to test it, it's fine. If you don't want to, it's absolutely fine. But everybody was just so lovely. Sorry about that. I had to move the cat. He'd found, he's got a box that he likes to sleep in. And he'd found like a flap on it and he was like continuously. So hopefully I've moved him out in time and that noise wasn't too distracting. So yes, I'd put this nervous post on Instagram last night, sort of, if anybody would like to test it, and everybody was just so lovely. So I have all the testers already, so they're going to be getting the pattern in the next few days. So hopefully the release date for this will be the 16th of January, but I'm just so pleased with it. I absolutely love it. And I'm really happy with the colours that I chose as well. So yeah, that is the autumn wings shawl, all finished and ready to go. Still smells so nice as well. I use the Eucalyptus wash on it. It smells gorgeous. Although it did take a good 2.5 days to dry. I had it on the blocking mats. It took forever to dry, but I think it's because it's not quite cold enough to have the heating on. It's just chilly. So I had to keep turning the heating on and putting the blocking mats in front of the radiator to dry it. But yeah, I'm really pleased, and I'm just so thankful to everybody on Instagram who was just so kind about it, and to the lovely people that had offered to test it. Thank you so much. So all we need to do now is see if my pattern writing skills are up to standard. I've written patterns for toys, but I think it's a little bit different when you're writing a pattern for a toy than it is for something like this. I don't know, we'll see. I'm a little bit nervous, can you tell? I'm going to be sort of scribbling away on that pattern this weekend, and I get so finicky about it and so worried that it's not going to make sense, or people are going to think, well, there's a much easier way of writing that, or I know what I'm going to be like this weekend over it. I'm going to be really, I'll probably drive myself mad, but I'm so pleased that it's finished, and I'm so happy with the design. It used almost all of the yarn, this grey section, so I'm going back to talking about it now. What I tried to do with the colours, these grey, the plain grey bits of five rows, 6 grey, yellow, mustard, but I tried to work it so when you get to a section that have got these 5 rows, it switches the colour of the yarn each time, so you're not using more of one yarn colour. And I think I did that quite well, because I ended up with the grey had 12 grams of yarn left, but the mustard and the pink had 22 grams. So I don't think I did a bad job of yarn management with it. But yeah, I'll stop going on about it. I'm so proud of it. I absolutely love it. So yeah, that is that. So we'll move on. So I've got some works in progress, and there's a couple of patterns that I want to talk about as well. I only have 2 works in progress that I've been working on this week, well, this fortnight. The first one is the Salem sweater. So I shall show you the progress on this one. Now, I've got 2 balls of yarn attached because I was watching Sharon from the SCR1 TNO podcast the other day. And, well, she said this all the time anyway. She says that she does her sleeves first because she finds it easier when you're doing the sleeves without having all the bulk of the rest of the jumper. So where garments are concerned, I will take any advice. So I've split for the sleeves on it. Split for the sleeves on it, and I've started working on the sleeves already. Now, I'll show you it first. So, oops, there we go. So here we've got some German short rows on the back. This is a DK weight sweater. And down the sleeves, you've got this beautiful cable design. Can you see that? I'm using, which yarn is it now? Bonus, I'll put it on the screen, I can't remember which one it is. I think it's the Bonus DK in the colourway Silver Mist. So, I've been doing really, really well with it. Now, you all know I didn't swatch. I was like, I don't swatch, I don't need to swatch, it'll be fine, it'll all be fine. This was not fine. Now, luckily for me, I've got a friend who's been able to talk me through everything. So I went up a needle size because I usually do. I've found that I do need to do that with knitting garments. So I just did that automatically. And I've gone round and round and round. Now, I thought this looked really small. And I thought these sleeves looked really small. So when it came to the sleeves, you were supposed to decrease however many stitches, which I should have been doing at this point. And I thought, oh no, them sleeves look really, really small. I don't think I'm going to need to decrease it all. I'm just going to carry on. Thank goodness I stopped here. So I was speaking to my friend on Zoom the other day and I was telling her about it, and she said, are you sure you don't need to decrease, Alex? And I says, no, because they look really small, it'll be fine. Now, this sweater has 12 to 15 inches of positive ease. I mean, this Whitmore is quite big on me, but I like it big. And if you look at this one that I'm wearing, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see how big it is? You see, I do like sweaters like that. Anyway, so she said to me, how many stitches to the inch are you getting? And I said, well, I don't know, I'm just following the pattern. And she sort of went, Alex, you need to know what you're doing. So I should measure your work and see how many stitches you are getting to the inch. Now, you all know that this is my third garment I've made, and I've just blindly followed patterns and it's worked out. So anyway, I followed her advice and I measured the stitches. And she said, right, so she said, based on your gauge, these sleeves are going to be 18 inches in width. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. So I've measured my arm and my arm is 8 inches. So that's quite a lot. Probably like this actually. Quite a lot. So I thought, right, okay. And that's quite baggy, isn't it? A little bit too baggy. So we've talked it through. I know how many stitches I need to decrease. Where are we? I'm up to here. So I've done this bit, which I think is fine. So I'm just going to pull the stitches in here. And learn my lesson from swatching. This is why you swatch. Because I'd gone up a needle size, and I'll tell you about the other bit in a minute. So I need to decrease. I'm going to start decreasing here now. I don't want my sleeves tight. I like them big like this, but maybe not an extra 10 inches worth of extra room. I don't think I need that. So the sleeves are fixable. Now the body has almost fixed itself. So when I had finished splitting for the sleeves, there should have been an extra round of increases. And I thought, I really don't think I need to do that. And I was blindly basing it off. That's the postman, and the dog's just 1 second. Sorry about that. That was the postman knocking at the door and the dog attacking all the parcels and my coffee getting flung everywhere. I think we're okay now. So yes, on this body section here, there should have been an extra round of increases. Now, I kind of looked at the stitch count for the Whitmore because this is also done in DK, and I thought that sounds like it's an awful lot of stitches. So I missed off that second increase. Which should have meant I had 306 stitches, I think it was. So when I counted it, I only had 274, which has turned out to be a good thing because it's pulled the body in to where I need it to be. So I think that's fine. So I've just got these sleeves to sort out. I don't have many to decrease, I don't think. I just, like I say, I want it bigger, but not as roomy as it was. That was probably a little bit too much room. So thank God that I spoke to my friend the other day while I was working on this, because that would have just been ridiculous. But yeah, it's getting there. I'm going to continue with the sleeves first. What I might do is make this first sleeve, do a little bit on the body, get bored of the body, and then go make the second sleeve. But I'm really enjoying it. I've not cast on the other sweater that I was desperate to cast on, because I just want to give all my time to this. I think the other week I had so many works in progress on the go that it really stressed me out, and I'm just trying to sort of clear the decks a little bit before Christmas. I've still got Danny's cowl to pick up. I've got a secret project that I want to work on this week, which is a gift for somebody, which they will be getting next week. So I've got to spend the weekend working on that. So yeah, I just need to clear the decks a little bit, because I don't know, it kind of really stressed me out. I had so much going on, so many whips, and whatever I was working on, I felt guilty for not working on something else, and it was just taking the enjoyment away. And I think, yeah, so I'm going to be good and not cast anything else on just yet, apart from the pattern that I'm going to show you about in a minute. But I think it's just a case of, over a sort of fortnightly period, maybe just picking out a couple of whips to work on and focus on those, and then when they're done, picking out another couple of whips, rather than trying to rotate all of the whips all of the time and feel like you're getting nowhere with any of it. I mean, that is half the fun, isn't it? Casting on something new. I love it. I really do. But then they get to this stage and you think, oh, I don't want to work on it anymore. But I'm going to be good. So, sorry, people are walking up and down the stairs. So there isn't much. The sleeves are going really, really quickly. I'm using some chow goos. My friend actually gave me these chow goos. And they're absolutely perfect. They're the 4-inch ones. I usually use the 5-inch ones, but these ones are the 4-inch ones, and they are perfect for these sleeves. I can just go round and round and round. So yeah, I won't keep banging on about it, but that is that. It's coming on, it's getting there, and I love, love, love that cable design. It's just gorgeous. So, now I've got myself in a tangle with my yarn. Oh well. So yeah, it's still getting there, it's still going on. So that is work in progress number 1. So if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen this work in progress already. Danny did some dyeing the other day, and he made the most gorgeous shade of green that I've ever seen. And it was one of those things that I just went, it's mine. I'm just having it, it's mine. So bad of me, I know, but I couldn't help it. Look at this. My favourite colour combination is pink and green. So, look at that for the heel. As soon as I saw this colour that he'd made, I just fell in love with it. So he dyed it on, what day are we on today? I think he dyed it on the Tuesday. Was it the Tuesday? It dyed it on Monday or Tuesday. That night, I'd managed to get that skein of yarn dry, wound and cast on. Just so he couldn't take it off me and put it in the shop. But yeah, this is it. Isn't it lovely? I just love the green. Now, we have tried to replicate it since, and we've not had any luck yet. But we will keep going, because it's just the most beautiful shade of green I've ever seen. So I'm just doing a vanilla sock. The shadow wrap heel is the one that is just my absolute favourite at the moment. I've cast on 64 stitches, and I have just put my needle size down to a 2.5. I was always doing a 2.75, but my knitting must have relaxed or something. My past couple of pairs of socks have been quite big. So yeah, there's not a lot to show on it. It's just a vanilla sock, but in the most gorgeous shade of green I've ever seen. So I'm going to do the pink heel and the pink toes as well. So that is that. So while we're talking about socks, I was looking on Ravelry the other day and I saw this pair of socks. I will put a picture on the screen. They're called the Snowman socks, and I've written it down by Emma Bermudez. I think that's how you say it, and if it's not how you say it, I'm really, really sorry. But aren't they just the cutest socks you've ever seen? I've really struggled not to cast them on this week. Just because I've got too many things on the go, but definitely will be a pair I'll be making next year. The kids will love them. I will love them. I can imagine me sitting there on a night time with those socks on. They're absolutely gorgeous. So I did find them on Ravelry. And I also found I think a lot of people already know about Lisa Much. I'd never heard of Lisa Much before. I was watching The Grocery Girls last week, I think it was, and Jodie was talking about her. She had a shawl and she was saying she wasn't sure whether it was a design by Lisa Much, and I thought, oh, who's that? So I went on to Ravelry. Oh my God, she's got some beautiful designs, but I found the Heartbreak shawl. I'll put a picture on the screen. It's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So that's one. I won't be getting that yet, but I do want to do that next year. Definitely one that I want to do. And I have been naughty. It's not a new pattern. I've had this pattern a while. But I'll just go in my book. Where is it? This one. Like I say, I can't. This is definitely a pattern on Ravelry. I'll put a link to it in the description box below, but I can't remember if it's a free pattern or a paid for pattern. But this is the Changing Staircases shawl. Absolutely lovely, isn't it? So I'm going to be casting that on. But I may have that as my Christmas Eve cast on. I'm not sure yet. But I've got a bag already with the pattern to go. This is my Diane bag. And I think the pattern actually only calls for 100 grams. Let me just check. 430 to 450 yards of fingering weight yarn. So basically 100 grams or a little bit less. So I'm not sure if you can keep the pattern going any bigger. I want to use these two. I showed these on Vlogtober. I've been so desperate to cast this yarn on. I really have. So I want to see if I can use these two. If I can't use them on this shawl, then I'm going to get the Heartbreak shawl and use them on that. But yeah, I'll have a really good look at the pattern later on. Like I said, I'll probably use it for my Christmas Eve cast on, I think. I can show you it there without showing you the pattern above it. Let's see if I can do this. You see? Isn't it gorgeous? It's beautiful, isn't it? So yeah, that is in the works. So it's been Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted over on Instagram over the past week or so. It's been absolutely brilliant. I've never taken part in it before. Well, I have taken part in it, but I've never asked for anything before. I've normally, you know, just sort of granted a few wishes where I can. But it's just been brilliant. So I managed to grant a few wishes, which was lovely. And I followed a lot of accounts where people had asked for follows or things like that. I've done that as well. But it was just such a lovely thing to take part in. And I was very, very lucky. Honestly, some people were just lovely. One day I woke up to 2 new patterns from Ravelry from my wish list. I was absolutely blown away. So I'll show you those patterns. So people were just so kind. So when I got the Salem sweater pattern, if you remember, I was talking about the beanie that she was wearing in the pattern. That was on my Ravelry wish list. I can't get my words out today. What is going on? So this was, excuse the glare there. This is one of the patterns that I got. If I take it out of the sleeve, you can see it without the glare. There you go, that's better. Isn't it beautiful? So I'll definitely be making that. And I also got this pattern. Now these are the camp socks by darlingjador.com. Darling Jador. is. Look at those. Aren't they gorgeous? So I want to make some of those as well, but I want to do it in the colours that they're in as well. We might have that for a Christmas Eve cast on. Can you have 2 Christmas Eve casts on? Why not? So yeah, I was really honestly blown away. I did also get some donations to my Ko-fi account, which was just absolutely lovely, which enabled me to buy a selfie stick. When I did Vlogtober, I really struggled holding the phone all the time. Excuse me. So I did get some donations to the Ko-fi account, so I have been and bought a selfie stick, which will make Vlogtober so much easier. It's not come yet, but I'm hoping it should be here in plenty of time for Vlogmas. So yeah, I got that as well. So it was just absolutely lovely. I've really, really enjoyed it. I've made some lovely new friends and I've met some lovely new people. And yeah, Yarn Wishes is fantastic. So I think that is everything for the knitting content. So I'm going to go into the shop update. If you're only here for the knitting content, then thank you so... Well, I should say knitting and crochet content, really. But thank you so much for joining me. It's been lovely to see you, and I will hopefully see you again next time. And if you want to stick around for the shop update, I'm going to do that now. Move some of these things out of my way. Right. So, like I say, there's a lot of one-of-a-kinds going in at the moment just because we're still playing with colours, see how colours interact and that kind of thing. But I'm trying to do mini sets as well. So, there is some mini sets in the shop, which are, if I can find one to show you, which are these ones. Because I think these come in really handy for heels, toes and cuffs. Or if you want to make like a 100-gram shawl, but just have something a bit different. These are all 20-gram minis, so there's 100 grams in total. And these ones, this is the earth tone pack. There are 3 of these left in the shop. And they are just earth tones. That is the blue suede colourway. Yeah, and that is very similar to the mustard pot, which is in the shawl. So I have made another mini set. There are 2 of these, and these are just plain. And I'm going to call they're not labelled up yet because they've not long been dry. So I just need to get them labelled up and take pictures for Etsy before I label them. But yeah, this is the other sets that are going in. Like I said, there's 2 of these, and these I'm just going to call heels, toes and cuff set because that's what they're perfect for. The blue is slightly more tonal, which is really, really gorgeous. It's just pink, green, purple, because everyone loves purple, and a gorgeous yellow. So they are going into the shop. That's that one. Now, there are one of these in the shop. This colourway is called Pretty Poison. And it's just purple and pink. The purple fades into the pink. It's absolutely gorgeous. They're all 4-ply, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So that's Pretty Poison. I couldn't have an update without putting something slightly Christmassy in. It's not traditional Christmas, but it is Elf House Party, which I've just dropped, which has just got a lot of blues and pinks and purples and splashes of green as well. There's an awful lot of cream in it as well, so it's not an in-your-face bright, but it's plenty speckled. And this one is called Elf House Party. There is one of those. We also have this one. I cannot take the credit for this name. I couldn't think of a name, and my lovely friend named this. This is Northern Lights. And I absolutely love it. But this is just blues, purples, and there's quite a big grey section in it as well. So it should do a little bit of micro striping. That's that one. Now, these next 2, I took inspiration from the cats and the dog. So we only have 2 so far. The first one is, this is Miss Ruby, obviously after the dog. And I know that the dog is a white dog but I had to take inspiration from a name. So it's really deep maroon, fading and fading into lighter pink. Again, this should micro stripe. But I just love it. 4-ply, 75/25. So that's Miss Ruby. And then I couldn't not have a Tilly version. So this is Miss Tilly. As you all know, Tilly is ginger, black and white. And that's what this is. This is my absolute favourite. I love this one. I am going to be doing a Bert and Polly, which are both black with a very small section of white on. So I'll do that as well. And there will be a Luigi. But they will come as and when. But yeah, so that is Miss Tilly. And I think that's all for... No, it's not all for the new ones at all. These ones are labelled already because I've got the pictures ready to go on Etsy for tomorrow. This one is True Denim. And it's just a very tonal blue. More like... it's coming out true to colour on the screen. It's like an indigo blue. This one I adore. This is Mellow Rhythm. That colour is bob on the screen. It's like a really pale brown and pink. Like a variegated. That's that one. We also have Flutterby Blue. I love this one. I do like the brights. So this is pink with pops of teal in it and like a lighter pink. Again, it's just a variegated yarn. Excuse the tassel. These tassels drive me mad when you're trying to take a picture of yarn and you've got the yarn tassels. You've got to try and tuck them away. So that's Flutterby Blue. And the last one that's going into the shop, I think, yeah, is Midnight Moon. This is a deep blue into quite a deep purple and it fades together. So again, it should micro stripe. And that is, like I say, all 4-ply, all 75/25. There are still some sock sets in the shop left. What have we got? Monkey Around. I love that one. I can't believe that hasn't sold yet, to be honest. It's one of my favourites. So I don't mind keeping it. Yeah, there's a couple left in the shop. And I'm going to start doing mini skeins. Now, I've only got a few to be getting on with at the minute, so I'm not going to create a listing for these yet, but I'm just going to start putting up single mini skeins for, I don't know, £4.50 or something, just in case you ever want something to match heels, toes and cuffs. Not this one. This one is a mistake. This one is, I was playing around one day and it just came out wrong. So as I get more of these, I'm going to have a section where you can buy the seconds at a really reduced rate so they don't go to waste. But yeah, I wasn't keen on this one. I don't know what I did wrong, but it came out really weird. So yeah, that's not going in the shop. But yeah, I'm going to start doing just mini skeins as well. So I'm going to build up some colours of these and have them just pick and mix or whatever. But that's not coming yet. So let me just pop these away. So that's all the yarn that's going into the shop tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So if any of you can make it over there, that'd be really, really great. The mystery boxes will be sent out next week. I'll be sending those out towards the end of the week next week. And yeah, so I'm really excited to send those out. I've been putting them together over the past week. Love them. So that is everything for today. I hope that you've all enjoyed spending this little bit of time with me. And like I say, if you want to message me or talk about anything to do with the podcast, or you just have a question or anything at all, you can send me an email, send me a message on Instagram. Probably don't message me on Ravelry. So I hope you all enjoy your next 2 weeks. I am going to be spending some time working on the Salem sweater, trying to get that. I'd like by the next podcast to hopefully have at least one sleeve done and a much bigger section of the body. But we'll see how that goes. I'm not doing any more gift knits. I don't really have people that sort of wear a lot of knitted things. I'm making Danny's cowl for him, but other than that, there's not a lot of people that ask for knitted things, so I'm quite lucky I don't have all the gift knits to do, so I just get to make everything for myself. Quite selfish, really. So I'm going to be working on the Salem sweater over the next week, definitely. And oh, the Snoopy blanket, people have been asking about the Snoopy blanket. If you remember, I ran out of white yarn for that. So I managed to get to Hobbycraft last week. I think it was the end of last week. And got the white yarn. Great. Came back, picked it up at the weekend, ran out of red yarn. So I just need to go back to Hobbycraft and get some more yarn. But I think it's safe to say my deadline of finishing it by the end of the year is not going to happen. I'm going to have to extend that deadline. I am going to be casting on the habitation throw to use for the Advent Calendar minis this year. So that blanket's going to be ongoing through December. I want to try and use each mini each day to see if I can get a real... I don't think for any second that I'll have it finished in the 24 days at all. But I do want to get as much of it done throughout the Advent as I can. And I want to be quite strict with using the Advent each day. So whatever Advent I get, I want to use that rather than waiting around and mixing up colours. I'm just, whatever I get, I'm going to put straight into the habitation throw. So I don't think that I'm going to get the Snoopy blanket finished by the end of the year. Maybe the end of next year, the way I'm going with casting on all these new projects. I don't know. But anyway, I'll stop wittering on. I'll see you all again in 2 weeks. I hope that you're all okay, and I hope that if you're doing all the gift knits that you're enjoying it. And yeah, I just thank you for watching me, and thank you for spending this really weird crazy hour with me. So I hope you all have a lovely 2 weeks, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks.